The Sopranos, Anthony Soprano. This is one of the greatest shows of all time. The Sopranos laid the groundwork for shows like Breaking Bad and Dexter, one of the first shows about an anti-hero, or just not a great dude. Sopranos took risks that no other TV show wanted to. A show about a troubled mob boss who has to see a therapist to deal with his blackouts. A show about power and betrayal. Anyone could be whacked at any moment. Sopranos is a great show that lasted 6 seasons, and that's where the story should end. But no, they had to go and make a tie-in game. The Sopranos Road to Respect takes what Sopranos is and throws it directly out the window. I can't even think of anything else to add here because there's nothing to say besides it's definitely a game. You know what? Roll the intro. The year is 2006. Life is good. Maybe. I don't really remember it. But regardless, Lego Star Wars The Original Trilogy came out, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess was on its way, but little did the people know that 7 Studios was cooking up something big, something epic, an absolute masterpiece, if you will. And on November 7th, 2006, The Sopranos Road to Respect blessed the GameStop shelves and your PS2 disc drive. Someone really sat down and said, yeah, we need a Sopranos game, stat.
That is, without a doubt, the dumbest fucking idea I ever heard.
Guy was an interior decorator. His house looked like shit.
So in The Sopranos Road to Respect, there's about 2 mechanics, 3 if you want to stretch it. First, we got the combat system. Surprisingly, it's relatively fleshed out. You got combos, special moves. Matter of fact, let me read them out to you. The classic asshole tax, sneaky rat bastard, the Strega slap. What game do you know has the Galtieri gut punch, the Moltisanti slam? The special attacks get better too. You got the Jersey handshake, whack the jamook, and my favorite, the 5 family facial. Now, if you're not so fond of giving out 5 family facials, you can always pick up the nearest item you see and use it. I will say that at first, the combat is actually pretty fun. Beating up everyone you can to work your way up the ranks is pretty enjoyable. Sadly, it gets old when you realize this is dang near all the game has to offer. 98% of this game is the same constant of beating up enemies. The game is pretty much a 3D beat 'em up, but somehow worse. There's also a gun that you can use, except you can't. It's actually completely useless. See, every time you use it, it makes your respect meter go down, and if it fully depletes, you get whacked. Let alone the fact that the stupid camera gets reorientated every time you pull it out, so by the time you turn around, you're getting jumped by all the enemies.
Well, this game's going down in history.
You can replenish your respect meter by paying tribute to Polly. However, this is once again completely useless because it's only in Pacific areas and the meter regenerates each mission anyway.
And why do I exist? The existential question.
Now, the other mechanic is the poker system. Yes, they took out the time, had people develop and implement a poker system into this game. I can finally live out my dreams of getting a royal flush on Silvio or Tony. Now maybe I'd have more to say about this, but I only played it for about a minute before I realized how stupid it was.
That is, without a doubt, the dumbest fucking idea.
He's got that putrid, rotten fucking soprano gene.
The Sopranos Road to Respect has you playing as Joey, which is Saul, or Big Pussy's illegitimate son. And for those who aren't average Sopranos enjoyers, Big Pussy was killed in the show for being a rat. He shows up throughout the game in reflections to give advice to Joey. He's pretty much Harry from Dexter, except not the father of a serial killer. Anyway, each mission had you talking to one of the characters, fighting a whole bunch of people, and leaving. And that's it. This is every mission in the game. Rinse and repeat. I barely even paid attention to what the actual objectives were in the missions because of how brain-numbing the game is. As I said, at first, it ain't that bad, but after about 15 times, it gets real boring. I can only do whack the jamook so many times before it gets old. Some of the missions are better than others though, like the nightclub mission with AJ, or my favorite mission, the one where you blow up a porn studio. I mean, come on, you can literally use purple dildos as weapons in this mission. That 5 family facial has a whole new meaning. Also, there's a countdown in this mission allowing me to reference Resident Evil, as I must in every video. In the final mission, your goal is to whack this dude on his boat because of what he did to your girlfriend. The gameplay is of course just more of the same, but everyone has a gun so you get to dodge the bullets while trying to get to the boat. The final boss, if you want to call it that, is about 2 times as easy as the 5 times it took to actually get to the boat. The game ends as you finally get officially recognized as a member of Tony's crew.
He winds up in the end of the game getting made. If not, He don't.
Mind you, Joey has only been here for like a couple of weeks max, and he is already a part of the crew. Come on guys, this is breaking my Sopranos immersion.
We open in 3 days, huh?
One thing you cannot fault the Sopranos Road to Respect on is the voice acting and graphics. I went into this game thinking it was about to sound like Resident Evil 1 and look like Bugsy 3D. Needless to say, I was wrong. I mean, they got dang near the full cast to come back and reprise their role as their characters, and they do a pretty good job too.
Motherfucker!
Sometimes you'll feel like you're in a real episode of The Sopranos. Only sometimes though. The graphics in this game ain't too bad either. I mean, this kind of looks like Tony, and look at Vito. They got his walk down and everything. The FMVs aren't terrible either. I mean, it's no Silent Hill 1, but it's something. Who doesn't want to see this every time they get whacked?
Nice.
So is Florida.
Hot and sticky, like my balls.
All in all, The Sopranos Road to Respect is definitely one of the games of all time. It tried to capture the same feeling as the show and put you in a crime-filled mafia world, but just doesn't succeed. It lacked mechanics and just ended up being a whole bunch of repetitive nonsense. If you played for an hour, I don't doubt you'll enjoy it, but anything past that just becomes a drag. This is especially surprising seeing as the Scarface game came out a few months prior and was miles better.
Well, this game's going down in history.
It may go down in history, but not as a good game. Just another example of how to make a bad one. There is one thing I can say though. I had more fun playing this game than Silent Hill 1.